blessed us with. We thank you for the administration, the employees that you have given to help us steward your city, and we just ask for wisdom in making decisions. And I thank you that you meet all of our needs, and we just pray for peace and unity and growth in our city. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Vote.
Huckabee.
Yes.
Peterson.
Yes.
Chapman.
Yes.
All right. At this time, we're going to open it up for remarks or inquiries by the audience of anything not pertaining to any item on the agenda. Does anybody have anything? All right. We'll move on to item 5, financial report for July by the city manager.
Okay, in front of you guys, I put the July's financials, just so you can kind of see it while I go over it. So in the general fund, the sales tax for July was $48,730, which is down by 2% from last month and down by 3.8% from last year. The use tax was $10,163, which is down by 4.2% from last month and down by 3% from last year. Our other revenues, which is our miscellaneous revenues that we don't have line items for, like licenses, rent, animal control, the tobacco court, like our actual court. So that's all included under this other revenue. So the other revenue was $1,247, which is up by 100% from last year, because last year we only had like 3 departments, 3 funds that we used. So that's gonna look very good. And of course, it's gonna double that from last year. The alcohol tax was $8,465, which is up by 30% from last month. And I don't know if we had 30%, and I'm missing a page, but it was up from last year, a little bit up from last year. And our franchise tax was $3,708, which is up by 59%. And last year, I don't think we had franchise taxes. I think we had, we started with Spark Light, I believe. So that's gonna be, of course, 100% up. This month, we did our transfers. So we did $96,000 in transfers from the MUA to the general fund. And we didn't do any transfers last year at this time. That's when we didn't have that adopted to where our transfers were going, so we didn't have any last year at this time. The overall revenue is $171,000 for this month, which is up by 130% from last month and 130.5% from the same time last year. Our expenses are $165,725, which is down by 9.2% from last month, and it's up by 34% from last year because of the purchases. We still had some outstanding invoices that were hanging out. On the MUA side, our revenues were $440,000, which is up by 23% from last month and down by 60% from last year. That again is those transfers. Hopefully, we'll see it kind of clear up in the next month. The MUA expenses this month were $196,000, which is down by 45% from last month and down by 24% overall from last year. Total cash on hand we have is $532,286.42. That's the actual cash on hand in our bank account, and that doesn't include the ICS or any of our CDs. That's it. We did have our 2022-2023 fiscal year audit done on the 20th, I believe they came down. It was a very smooth day. The girls did amazing of getting everything that they needed together. And they're wrapping up 2023-2024. While I was out,
Thank you. All right, police report for July by the chief of police.
Good evening.
For the month of July, we had 15 actual incident reports. They included an aggravated assault, a simple assault, 2 DUIs, 1 public intox, 3 emergency orders of detention, a stolen motor vehicle, and some traffic. From there, out of that, we had 4 arrests, and then 1 was referred to the district attorney. We had 463 calls for service this month. Some of the ones that were there were 2 accidents with no injuries, 6 business alarms, assist another agency, child abuse, some civil matters, controlled burns right before the burn ban came into effect, 4 disturbances, 2 domestic disputes, the drunk driver, 5 EMS calls, 3 fights with no weapons, a lot of fire calls, 21 follow-ups, 163 calls for information, 4 missing people, 2 open doors that were found during patrol, stalking, 9 suspicious people, and 9 welfare checks. That concludes everything. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, fire report, fire chief.
How are y'all?
Hello.
Okay, so for the month of August, we ran 16 total calls. It breaks down 3 car wrecks, 4 helicopters at the hospital. We had 1 power pole down with lines on the ground, 2 fire alarms, 1 lift assist, 1 gas leak, and 4 grass fires. That included the big one, which was a total of 5 days, 1,400 acres. It started off as 4 different fires. 2 of those burned into one, and the other 2 were just down the road on different sides of the highway. It was over 105 every day. The humidity was in the lower 20s to the teens. We did have a little bit of a problem. We had a water break here, which they had to shut the water down to Reed. So we had to shuttle water from Mangum to Reed. But we had Beckham County, Ouachita County, Texas Task Force, the Oklahoma Forestry had 2 crews. The Greer County brought road graders, and we had Harmon County, and then all the departments here in Greer County was on that. So I believe that's it. Any questions?
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right. Moving on to item 8, discussion of possible action regarding adopting public ordinance number 470, an ordinance of the Board of Commissioners for the City of Mangum, Oklahoma, an alleyway, a public way in North Mangum addition to the City of Mangum, Greer County, Oklahoma, in accordance with 11 OS 42-110, providing notice that closure will not affect access on easements or utilities current constructed or on abutting next to the alleyway, reserving right to reopen, providing severability, amending all ordinances, policies, or resolutions at variance, and declaring an emergency.
So this is what was on the meeting I wasn't here?
Correct.
Okay.
And this is the Halfords property, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we sent out the certified mail that the attorney requested for the city clerk to send, so she sent that, and then we did the public notice in the newspaper and ran it. I don't know if anybody's called about that.
I haven't received any calls.
So do we have any reservations about continuing on with this?
To make a decision?
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
So we've awaited a lot of time to get the calls and concerns.
Yes. That's what I'm saying, is I don't, unless somebody's called that I don't know about, but we haven't had anybody reach out to me directly.
Did Corey have any concerns at all about this?
He hasn't said
Yeah.
anything to me.
I know they were working on it before I left, and he told the clerk to put it back on the agenda. He couldn't be here tonight, so I don't know if you wanna make a decision today, or if you wanna wait for the attorney.
I know last time, that we discussed this, the fire department had some issues with the way that, like, the one over on Dahlia Street. Do you guys see anything with this one as far as emergencies, or there's no concerns or reservations for you guys?
There's nothing there.
Seemed like that property had like two easements going up through it. One actually traveled alley, and then the other one was,
The other one
it
was
was
street,
just-
and they're on.
it just looked like
That's
yard.
on the other side of all our properties. Not street, actually, there either, but.
You can drive all the way around all that, it's easy to get to.
So no concern? Okay, so do we need to, what do we do, declare an emergency, is that right? How do we do that, Irma? What do we need to do?
I don't think we need to declare it an emergency.
Okay,
We should be able to just vote.
okay.
Yeah, it's like normal, yeah.
Do you guys wanna wait on Corey? Or do you
I
want
wasn't
to-
here for the last meeting, they were, so if you guys are,
I mean, I personally don't see a problem with it.
I don't either. And they've already started building, right? I don't see a problem.
Okay,
So I'd like to make the motion on number 8.
alright, second,
Second.
vote.
Huckabee,
Yes.
Peterson,
yes.
Chapman.
Yes.
Item 9, discussion and possible action to approve resolution number 2024-090301 to authorize the mayor to execute the deed to the armory in accordance with the interlocal agreement with Greer County.
This is finalizing everything up that we've got going on with the armory and, thank you, with the armory and, Greer County Sheriff's Department. And he also could not be here today. He did tell me to give you guys a message and let you know how much he appreciates your time and commitment and everything, and that he looks forward to great things to come in the future. He couldn't be here, so I believe he just had surgery also.
So this is just executing the deed, the contract, is it already signed?
Yes,
Yes.
it's already been submitted, everything's good to go. This is the
Some more
deed, the last thing
legalities.
left.
She went to the Attorney General's office and she
Okay.
got confirmation with,
I just wanted to make sure before we sign over a deed that
Yeah.
the contract's done, so.
Okay,
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 24-090301.
second,
Second.
vote.
Huckabee,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Chapman.
Yes.
Item 10, discussion and possible action to approve resolution 2024-090302, amending the budget for other revenue and general fund in the amount of $55,000 received from the sale of the 2021 Raptor 2 Street parking lot sweeper previously purchased from Nighthawk Industries in 2021.
So this is also just finalizing up this, so.
Like, was it that guy that you were talking to about it?
I don't know which one you're talking about.
I meant at the last meeting, you were trying to come up with a number, I was just curious if it was that same one.
No, I think it's a different one.
Either way, it's
We've had a lot
gone.
of people interested in it, but don't wanna
They
pay
all
more
wanna give
than
us
$30,000
$5.
for it. So we were so happy with this amount, we were gonna try to call a special meeting and everything else, we wouldn't lose it. But into junk, really. It was starting to get ate up, and
It's
it
been
was
setting
gonna
for
be
the
to where
3
you
years.
wouldn't even have gotten that.
Right.
But I do wanna say that we're not actually amending the budget for the other revenue, because we can accept in the revenue. We're just wanting to put in this $55,000 into our current budget and putting it in our general, I guess, in our general fund. Are you using that money for anything right now?
Not right this second.
So we're just gonna amend my current budget to accept the $55,000 into our general fund and put into our other revenue fund?
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second,
Second.
vote.
Huckabee,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Chapman.
Yes.
Steve, thank you for cleaning all that up and selling stuff and all the work that you've done. That's been
Really?
awesome.
Really, because he's done a lot.
Yeah, I mean, that's been a lot of income.
Yes.
He's been working so hard, we're gonna get you a new piece of mat to fix your window.
I told her that.
I'm gonna draw a little eyeball in it where people can, so it's just looking at you all the
And how
time.
upset you were with that bill. I
Sorry,
said,
I couldn't help myself.
Steve is a perfectionist, and that bothers him, so I'm gonna order him a new cover for that window.
Okay, item 11, discussion and possible action to approve resolution number 2024-090303, amending the budget for airport operations, special revenue, and airport capital improvement funds in the amount of $1,725 for the fuel computer components that need to be replaced, and discussion of future operations of the airport.
So we all know that we have a special revenue fund for the airport, and we didn't do anything with it. The only thing that we get is maybe some fuel that we get back after we make the purchase. But we have something else down out there, and that part's gonna cost us $1,125 for it. That is the meter, the reading of the car. Does it have to do with that?
It's, I think he left. It's a component inside that computer. It's a special computer for the heat,
Yeah.
and it's inside. It would cost quite a bit more to replace the computer. It's not just regular computer. So,
But without it,
just
we can't
replace
get
that.
fuel.
we can't even get to our phone fuel.
Yeah.
And we have fuel, right? Cause we just
Oh,
got
yeah.
some not that
Yes.
long ago, like it's full.
But you know, we only get 3 or 4 purchases, maybe a year. I think we went over that a couple meetings
Yeah.
ago.
When we sell it.
When we sell it.
And how many gallons do we have right now? Do we even know?
We bought, what, $9,000 worth?
9,400.
No, I was gonna say, I thought it was, yeah,
In
close to
June.
10.
There's plenty in there. You gotta keep in mind, that's a starting point. That don't fix it when you want it.
Well, I know, that's why I'm
Yeah.
asking, cause I'm like, we just spent $9,000 in fuel that we may or may not be able to get rid of in a year, and now we're looking at throwing money at parts that we don't even know if it's gonna fix it, and how much
Right.
do we use the airport?
And I asked,
Have we gotten our lease renewals? Did they all renew?
no, we have 3 empty ones?
Three empty hangars.
So we only currently have 3 in there?
Well.
4 now, I think.
And we had damage to that,
That has
the
to be-
last storm that they came out and.
The insurance adjusters came and looked at it, I haven't heard anything back, all amount wise on what they're planning on paying. And I've got, well, supposed to having 3 guys look at it to give us bids. I haven't got any numbers back on any of that either.
Is why we put in the future operations of the airport, because Mr. Kendall said that we needed 3 bids after the insurance, that we would need 3 bids, but he can't get a hold of,
The adjuster to
he
get.
can only get 1, he got contacted by 1,
Yeah,
right?
it's actually, and they haven't given me any numbers, insurance wise or repair. Which I'm sure they're all busy, they're not, we're probably not top priority for them. They'll get too many bids.
Well, they ought to be as much as we can.
Well, I mean, like the.
Yeah, our insurance company was out there the next day.
Yeah.
I
So-
called
so
their
that's
adjusters.
Justin McGavick?
Yes, they were out there the next day.
Yeah.
He's talking about like the actual people to come in and repair. Mr. Kendall said we needed 3 bids, and we were gonna try to put it on this agenda, but he can't get anybody to call him back. We've only gotten one person to call him and give, and he still doesn't have those numbers yet.
Okay.
Is there any way for us to, like, say we decide in the future or whatever that airports obviously just, it doesn't make us any money, we're not getting anywhere with it, to get rid of that 9,000? I mean, are we just stuck with that fuel? Is there a way to sell it where they can pump it out of where we store it?
I'm sure you can sell that. Just 100% low lead fuel, you put it in a car if you want to.
This jet fuel, it runs real good. My husband would
I
love
bought
to have
some.
it for his race car.
Well, I think even Cody and I were talking about earlier, and she had a 65-cent purchase for fuel,
Oh, that must have messed up.
maybe.
I was like, that's not getting you very far, I wouldn't be taking off with that.
It's $5.95 a gallon, so I got you a teaspoon.
I was trying to make my Tahoe go faster.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, I think it's Durango go a little quicker.
When was that, Cody, when was that?
I believe that one was in May.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So before we even got,
Before we.
Yeah,
before we-
but-
they
I
just
mean-
pumped out what was left in the
That
bottom.
was before the reader
Yeah.
thing went
Before
out.
In July, we only had 2 purchases, and it was less than $50 on each.
I personally would like to table it to next month. Let's see if we can get this adjuster to give us a price. To me, I can't see spending $1,700
Well, we're
on
talking
fuel
about two
to
different
fix the
things.
problem. Huh?
Is that-
The
they're talking about
reader.
two different- oh, you still wanna wait on the fuel deal too?
On the reader.
Yeah.
The 1,700 is for the component for the computer,
Right,
for
for
the
the fuel
fuel
deal.
card.
Right.
The adjuster is for the
Adjusters for the.
damage.
Right, I'm just saying, that way we can get all of our information compiled hopefully in the next month and go, is this worth spending this money? Or do we need to figure
I
out
just
something
have to know,
else?
cause I have to put out one of the notices that don't come here to buy fuel because you can't get it, you know.
But that's what we were trying to figure out earlier, like, what are we going to miss? Cause we have one.
Possibly $100 for the month?
If we're lucky. I mean, honestly, in June, there was 0 purchases.
I just can't see justifying spending that money until we know what we wanna do with it out there.
Plus, I've got some kind of aeronautics board coming Thursday to inspect the runway and stuff.
Okay, so that'll give us a month to
We might-
compile everything and
we can
figure
Throw
out
that in the mix too for next time, because there's no telling what they're going
want us to do.
Find need and we
tell
have
us
to
on
pay
the
for it.
runway stuff. And I did find out that we wanted to know if that was a mandatory deal and cost us anything. It is a mandatory deal, but there's no money out of our pocket cut off the bat. Of course, when they go out there.
And tell us that we need $1 million to
Yeah,
fix
it's
it.
$10 million runway.
No money out of your pocket until
So, yeah, we, I don't know where at the end of the week on both, or all 3 items, I guess, runway, fuel, and building. And kind of combine them together, I guess. You have some money, make it do it. Dollar a quarter, like I said, we purchased fuel a lot cheaper than that years ago, but I know we paid $4.70 a gallon for it this last time, $5.95 out there. I think that's $1.25 a gallon. I don't know what else. Cause at one time we was.
Cheaper.
Like to come here.
That's what I
But
was
we
gonna say,
but we
'cause I
was-
remember that.
We was a little bit cheaper, but I don't know.
We had
where
flights that come in and fill up and.
I don't know where we. stand.
Altus
Even when I
is
got on
like,
here, we had more people coming here to get fuel than we did anywhere else.
Altus is like $4.74.
Not now?
They're
Yes.
cheaper than us now.
So it's over $1.50 cheaper.
Yeah, so for sure
Well, I know
nobody's
that
gonna
we
come.
pay that program that advertises the fuel for us online. Yeah.
I'll just put out another NOTAM, tell them we're gonna, be down for a little while. That NOTAM is acronym for something, TAM.
Not in use.
Yeah, something like that. You just, I tell them, don't pull in here, cause airplanes always pull over, stop the road, and get fuel, you know.
Well, I mean,
Pretty
they're
critical
getting
to have
65 cents worth.
Yeah.
Well, we'll contact those people.
They just did that to get to Alta so they could get GPS.
That's where the $50 came in, they're like, we just need.
And hopefully in the meantime, we'll get some insurance.
Yeah.
And that inspection.
Okay, so we'll just table item 11 for now. All right, moving on to item 12, discussion of possible action on accepting nominations and appointment for a board member to fill the vacancy of the Mangum City Hospital Authority Board to a term of 5 years beginning in September 2024 and ending August 2029. Nominees must be residents of Greer County. It is for Cheryl Lively's vacancy.
So, she's up, her term is up. I did speak with Cheryl, and I want her to continue staying on the hospital board.
I was gonna ask if she wanted to.
And she wants to stay as well, so I'm gonna nominate for her to stay on. We need her, she looks at a lot of things and she asks a lot of questions, and that's what we need, we need somebody to look at everything, that's what we have our board for, but she's done a good job for us, and I say we ask her, or nominate for her to stay another 5 years. And she's okay with it. I spoke with her Monday, I believe.
Does somebody want to make that motion?
I'll make a motion to keep Cheryl Lively on the hospital board.
Second,
I'll second.
vote.
Huckabee.
Yes.
Peterson.
Yes.
Chapman.
Abstain.
Do we need to do anything since it's just two?
You're the tiebreaker.
Okay, so I vote yes
Yeah.
also.
You're up.
Okay. Item 13, discussion and possible action with regard to the police department applying for a Marathon Petro Foundational Grant for $1,800 and a GM First Responder Foundational Grant for $2,500.
You were the third, right? with
Yeah.
Cheryl?
Yes.
Okay.
Hello. These grants are to buy more of this. Probably the best body armor that I've ever worn, and that includes 20 years in the Army. It's to buy more of this. It's to buy individual first aid kits and additional equipment. We apply for these foundation grants for the simple fact that we don't have to match. We don't have to wait before we can get another one. And one of our reserve officers is the one who does these grants, okay? Come September 1st, the window opens up for a lot more grants like this, and they're going to be directly equipment related, and we might be able to roll some of that stuff into what he's going to talk about next. So the 2,500 and the 1,800 will be specifically for armor, first aid kits, possible ammunition, things like that, whatever it is that we're going to need small equipment wise to get it taken care of. And that's why we apply for these grants, because that way we don't have to worry about them interfering with anything else.
That's awesome.
I did tell Cody when we talked about putting this on the agenda, if you are having your reserve police officers apply for any grant, we won't give them their financials. They're not full-time employees, so we
Okay.
won't give them our financials. But you also need to be sure you're the one who signs for those, because they're not our full-time employees, they're reserve officers.
Correct.
Like we would let the
Correct.
volunteer fighter apply for any kind of grant. So make sure you sign, and we'll give you the financials.
That's fine. Okay. Anything else?
That's
Thank you.
awesome. Thank you. So,
That's a different one, okay.
do we need action to accept those?
Well, it's giving them approval to apply for the
Okay.
grants, yes.
I'll make a motion to approve you guys applying for the foundation grants.
Second,
Second.
vote.
Huckabee.
Yes.
Peterson.
Yes.
Chapman.
Yes.
All right, item 14, discussion and possible action to accept or review the quotes for new radios paid for with the police department's Purple Wave money and/or grant money.
How's everybody doing today?
Good.
You may have these already, they're here, print them off, but I kind of updated them.
Thank you.
It includes more of a complete summary analysis of what I've gone through with these companies. I also just spoke, AT&T just called me back today to kind of put their bid into it.
I'm waiting to do the numbers on it. They offer lots of bells and whistles, but in the totality of it, unless we had county hop on board and we had the whole Carroll County and everybody work together, it's probably gonna be too much for one chunk. It would take a team effort to split the cost of upgrading the dispatch. It's a great idea, but I don't foresee it being a great option yet. So I did go through 3 companies, Chickasaw Personal Communications. We've actually interacted with them once before when we were having them do an evaluation on the communication services. And then Lawton Communications, who has previously worked on our radios. And then Two Way Direct, which is just an online company. Those are the 3 best options I could find. Everything else was either really sketchy or just somebody has no reputation and no history and no involvement in law enforcement work. That was the biggest push I wanted there. For Two Way Direct, I'm just gonna go over the evaluations for you. Although it's the cheapest option, it has far too many unknown future costs to consider it really a logical investment. The lack of long-term service they offer, reachable support staff, and lack of important details for total cost and maintenance creates an uncertainty in the reliability of our investment, and it really should not be taken lightly. It's a great, hey, this is a great cheap thing, but with anything, if you don't have the support, it's not basic radios. These are very complex systems that take a lot of work to actually operate. And if we want to expand our network or add people to it or reach out and work with other communities across the state, it can be a disaster. And so I don't recommend it. It's nice to have a great low cost, but it's kind of one of those Temu options that I just don't think is a good choice. You know it is too. Nice.
And that was the one that you said was just online.
Yeah, that's just the online one. And I'm like, honestly, I'm very versed in radios. I've programmed Motorola's for a long time. I've worked for Elk City. I was the radio guy there. And just to create a base setup from scratch and then be able to just latch on to a network, it's not small. It would take me at least 150, 200 hours to get that network set up properly. And it's not a small undertaking, and I feel like, yeah, I could probably do it. But that's not something I play with life. If I screw up, if I make a mistake, it's not fair, because it can cost somebody else life. So I'm just not big on it. On the second one, it's with, unfortunately, we weren't able to get the request for the equipment in particular I wanted from Lawton Communications. They offered an alternate from Motorola. It's the 3500E series. I did a lot of evaluation on it. I've had some questions on it, and when I did a deep dive on it, they're offering me a radio that's at end of life already with Motorola. They're already ending that system. It kind of upset me, I'll be honest. It's taking advantage of the fact that we don't know enough maybe, or that they can get rid of stock they already have. No, they didn't tell me that, but I'm not dumb. And if you're gonna offer me something that's at the end of its life, sure, no problem. They also offered, hey, we can get you the programming software for free. It's free. It comes with Motorola. They don't charge anybody. That in totality with the history that we've had with Lawton. I know other people that I've worked with. I won't name names, but people have used them for programming. We've had issues. I know that I don't really like them programming my radios. Other than that, just because of the misleading there, I just don't trust them. We're gonna put a lot of money into this. Trusting I gotta trust who I work with. Chief?
And there was somebody in the back shaking their head yes and agreeing with you when it comes to programming those radios.
Yeah, it's not simple. There's actually a lot tied to it. Chickasaw Personal Communications. I've got a long history with them, to be open and clear. I worked with them in Elk City. I had phenomenal service with them. Not a single time I could call them at any time. They'd get on the phone, he'd walk me through it. If I needed him to dial into my computer and automatically help us do stuff, he can do that too. Their customer service is unparalleled in my experience. They offer the specific radio I was looking for. They went and hunted it down. They do state contract bidding, so there's no ups and downs and buddy systems. We pay the exact same that something as large as Oklahoma City would pay. It goes off of that rating. There is a charge. They do have a fee to have their programming software from Kenwood, but Kenwood doesn't give it away free. They charge for theirs. It's just straight across. He will also train me in that equipment and in that software. So if I need to do some updates, if I want to expand the network, if I need to, put in changes as over time, it's not an issue. And then I can train the next person to move it forward and spread it out through the department. But that way this is how it works, this is how we get to work, and this is how we make sure we future-proof our investment so that, in 10 years, 20 years, 20 be a stretch, 10 to 15 years. You can have a radio system last that long, but you have to actually stay within it and stay able to keep up with it. And that's what they offer, is not just the initial cost, which is significantly, I mean, it's $8,900 or $8,949, but the long-term investment, the warranty they offer. When I had a warranty problem, if I had a Motorola on the last department, if I had a Motorola break, hey man, I had it broke, cool, mail it. I'd send it off to them, postage is paid, they'd fix it, they'd send it back. It usually took less than a week, every single time. Even when it was unofficially out of service, oh, what's the problem? You know, it's having a problem here. Yeah, send it, and he'd fix it, just because they have that kind of outreach with their customers. They also do a large selection of Oklahoma, and so they actually work with a lot of departments. It makes all of it easier and a better transition. Is there any questions from anybody?
How much do you guys have from Purple Wave for this?
Right around 10 grand.
Right.
Also, one of the grants is going to open up, it opened up yesterday. We could sit there and state that we need this many of this radio, and they would give us a large chunk as well for this, but it's gotta be specifically stated for the radio, and those opened up yesterday.
Is that something we would need to add on to this, is like, hey, if I can get approval for this, I can actually apply for that grant as well and help offset some of that cost?
It's a foundational grant, not.
It doesn't go towards any of the federal or state grant limits and all that, it's just a foundational grant.
So they would just have to be put on to get approved to do the grant, Irma?
Yes.
If they choose to go that way instead of paying it with Purple Wave?
Yes.
How long would you know on the grant if you were to get it or not?
I'd have to double check. I should be able to find out within, it's usually within 30 days, isn't it?
Yeah, within 30 days.
Yeah. Yeah, they're short-term notifications. Like, I'm still waiting on to hear back from the AG's office on the body cameras grant. That just takes time. It's a massive bidding system. These are smaller grants. They're not, you know, they're not offering near as much money and all that, but, so it's a lot quicker turnaround time.
Gotcha.
What is their, like, I know some grants they'll pay out directly, or they can give us the money, so if you purchased them now with Purple Wave money, would you be able to replace the grant money in our funds?
We can reimburse it if
If they do it that way, that's what I was curious, or if you're gonna have to wait until you find out if it's approved before you decide.
Right.
As far as I understand, you can just be reimbursed, right?
Well, your paperwork, when you apply for the
Right.
grant,
That's,
will tell you.
Yeah, it'll clarify
They
it.
should tell you that.
Yeah, it should tell
Yes.
me on that,
Right.
but.
So I would say, if they can't, and we approve it, I mean, if they will just reimburse it, I would say purchase them, and then we can put it back where it needs to go, that way you guys aren't waiting on them.
Well,
Yeah,
that's what we
I don't
did
mind the
with,
holdup if we gotta wait for the turn, but either way, we need to get
Well, this
radios.
will keep you from having
Yeah.
to come back to get the approval, to, you know what I'm
And
saying?
do it again,
Like,
again, right.
Right away. If you
What's
can
the
buy 'em and
options?
then apply, yeah.
Yeah, pick the best path
If
and
he
go.
buys it with their Purple Wave money and he gets approved for that grant, yes, we can reimburse that fund.
Okay.
His Purple Wave fund, yes.
Correct, okay, that he could use on
But you
something else.
just want to make sure with the grant that you can buy it before you receive it.
Right, because that one's very specific to the
Right.
equipment you're ordering.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's much like the AG offices, it's very specific to the equipment I applied for, so.
Which is why we have grants where we have the board approve that, because we don't wanna get in a situation, and a lot of them are.
And overcommit to
very
something.
strict. Correct. Some of them are super strict and some of them are not.
So do we want to approve them to be able to purchase it out of Purple Wave, since they also wanna apply for the grant?
They're gonna
Potential.
apply for the grant, if they get it, then we'll just refund that.
Okay.
That back.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
Thank you, Josh.
Thank you.
Vote.
Chapman?
Yes.
Peterson?
Yes, he threw me
Huckabee?
off.
Yes.
I thought you said Kevin, I'm
I
like,
did
who is
too.
Kevin?
I did too. I was
So did
like-
everybody vote?
Yes. You did too.
Cool. Discussion and possible action authorizing the city manager to explore financing options for the purchase of a roll-off vehicle.
Well, as everybody knows, we stopped with the roll-off purchase, and, because we've had these open grants, and we don't know what it's gonna cost us. And I think the current one that I've been talking to some banks and, as we know, we just voted and wrapped up the whole dispatch situation and the county taking over our dispatch team October the 1st. Every month we are transferring $21,000 into the dispatch fund to take care of that department, so $21,000 a month. And at the end of the year, we're $260-something thousand is what it takes for us to have a dispatch team. The banks that we've been talking to, I met with a bank last week, or maybe the week before that, and they have pretty good rates, they have some good rates, and I thought, well, we transfer $21,000 a month to take care of the dispatch team that we won't have, so we can use some of that money to make the payment back for a roll-off vehicle, so we can still.
In a year it would be paid for, right? Cause didn't we approve like, what, 220 or something for the
Mhm.
roll-off?
We approved 220,000, yes, and, that would, in a year, maybe even two, I think the payments were gonna be like 400 something, or $4,000 or something like that a month, I think, 4,700 or something a month. But like I said, we transfer 21,000 a month for dispatch that we won't have, and I thought, well, why can't we go ahead and move forward with this while we can? And something doesn't come up in a year or two from now, where we can take a year or two to pay for it, to pay this loan off. So that's what this is for. I just don't want us to stop our production outside and getting all of that stuff done, and having our excavator sitting there and paying, what, $5,000 and something a month that we're paying extra.
Every time we do a job on a house, it's cost us anywhere from $1,200 to $1,800 just to get the boxes hauled. That's not the dump fees or anything, that's just hauling the boxes. And I hadn't even checked on, to be honest with you, lately, about what we're paying Waste Connection to haul their boxes for recycling. There's money there to be had, quit paying them, that's like our own money.
So really, it
I
would,
did want to point out, Dixie said something about being 220, it's gonna be about 233 getting the truck.
Okay.
I'll make sure that's clear.
I will say, the attorney's not here, but he did have some thoughts about it. He didn't want us to get a loan that was gonna go off and enter into our next budget. He asked if we were gonna pay it off before the new budget started for the next year. I said, no, of course not, we're not gonna have that paid before the next fiscal year starts. And, what else did he say, Cody? He had
It might be an option to look into a
lease.
purchase to own.
Like a lease agreement?
Lease to purchase
Yes,
deal.
yes. But we're not sure that anyone actually offers that.
For that type of equipment,
Yeah.
He just had his reservations on it. He didn't.
Did he say why his reservation was it being paid off by, I mean, I know that, you know, it obviously affects the budget, but cities
To
do
go
loans
into
all the
next
time
budget
for.
year, right. But I did look back at the last loan that we had. We had a loan, and it was, I think it was for 4 years, that we just paid that off when I went in as city clerk. So we have no outstanding and open loans right now. We just have that money that we can make that payment back to the bank.
Well, there's an
while we
opportunity,
can.
we could pay it off before budget next year, if, depending on what all this does.
Correct.
As well.
And we did ask if we would be penalized of any kind for paying it off early, and there's not. So if everything goes great with these the projects that we have open, and us not needing as much money as we thought, we could possibly just pay it off and be done with it.
right, that was my question, because, and I went and looked back. So last month, we re-encumbered the 220,000 that we had set aside for the roll-off truck because of the
Grants.
But then we got that $100,000 grant, right, in the
Yes.
last month, so.
So we will only
We-
need well, I guess that'll be a new meeting, but yes.
So really, we should, there's
We possibly might
the
have it.
bulk of it.
But
The
while I was
lagoon's not
out,
done as well, right? That's
we
the other
had,
one.
we have the project that we've got currently going on outside. We need to save our money, I'm gonna tell you that. I'm just gonna leave it at that. That's another meeting that we'll be having pretty soon, but that project outside is going to cost some situations out there where we're going to need that money. Right? Do you agree with me on that? I did talk with Commissioner Chapman last week just to inform him about the project, outside. And, we actually stopped production and they came back today, I believe. And you met with them today, right? They returned today. I don't even know what date it is, I'm sorry. But, and they started back up today. But we should save our money on that. I'm just gonna say that. But if it all goes good and they wrap it up and we won't need that money later, then we pay it off and we're done. I just don't want a huge piece of machinery that we purchase to get our town cleaned up, our city cleaned up, and we can't do anything with it now because we don't have what we need to get it cleaned up. I'll say, that's gonna be done. Steve does a very good job outside, and, Mr. Youngblood as well. They do great of talking with the citizens and trying to get people to clean up and before we have to start doing these kinds of things. But it is a lot of work for our guys.
Yeah.
A lot of work for our guys. And I wish that we had one citizen that would go with them during the day and see what they do and what they run into out there. And if 5 people a week took care of their own properties, we wouldn't be asking for this,
Right.
this money and this loan and this equipment. But we have to do what we have to do to keep it clean and to want people to come and move here and get businesses here and buy homes here. And we can't do that with
Have places to put homes.
So, you said it's about $1,500 per house that you tear down. How many houses per month have you guys been tearing down?
It's been on a slow go right now until I try to get this stuff situated, because we are kind of low on money. But, I mean, if we get it going, we can get 4 to 5 months.
And so then what would the cost be? If we had our own roll-off truck, what would it cost
You
to?
just take that 4 or 5 times, say, average 1,500, which would be, 7,500.
6,000 to 7,500 a month, which makes the payment
Makes
and
the payment.
$1,500.
That's how much it's still gonna cost us, or that's how
That's what
much?
it'll save us.
That's what
I
it's
see.
saying.
If we have our own roll-off.
So there won't be any disposal fees? It's still like,
Oh, yeah, there'll be disposal fees.
It will take 'em
The 1,500 is
from-
just to haul it to Altus.
Oh,
That's just to
okay.
get them
Yes.
to come and pick up their
that's
boxes and
not,
take them.
okay. I see what you're saying. So it's more than gonna save
Mhm.
enough to pay for itself.
Now, if I'm
Essentially.
counting recycle, checking on that, see what they charge us for that, with all our boxes from there. That'll save us some money too.
Which Irma and I are fixing to start that project with trash. We've got a couple companies we're gonna reach out to and start looking for alternatives too, since we already canceled our waste management contract, so.
We met with the, city of Coburt's manager
Right.
a couple of weeks ago, and she gave us a lot of ideas to try to save as well, and Steve did look into all of that before we even considered talking about a loan. But I'm saying that right now, while we can and have that extra money because of dispatch, that's where we should invest this extra money to right now. And we'll still be saving.
Yeah.
You know, if, that's what, 220,000 that we got approved, and it cost us 260,000 for dispatch, $265,000 a year for
Right.
dispatch.
So we have the money for it
And
set
that's
aside.
without overtime, let me put that in here.
For sure.
So this is just basically giving you authorization to explore it, and then you'll bring back whatever you come up with,
We
right?
explored it,
You've
our
already-
attorney,
okay.
I love where we've looked and talked to and just how hands-on they've been. But Mr. Kendall suggests that we sit down, talk with Deborah Banks as well,
Okay.
a couple of the other ones, which we have. We've looked into their rates and we just haven't sat down one-on-one with them.
Gotcha.
Okay.
I'll
Alright.
make a motion to authorize the city manager to explore financial options for the purchase.
Second,
A second.
vote.
Chapman?
Yes.
Peterson?
Yes.
Huckabee.
Yes.
Item 16, discussion and possible action regarding accepting the payments of $81.30 from the Purple Wave auction items declared surplus August 6, 2024, with such proceeds being distributed as following: $775 to the hospital, $7,355 to parks.
This again is just accepting the money of all of the guys' hard work, and we just wanna make sure that we're letting everybody know where it's going. So $775 to the hospital and $7,355 to parks in their budget.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second,
I'll second.
vote.
Chapman?
Since the hospital's involved, I'm gonna have to abstain.
Peterson?
Yes.
Huckabee?
Yes.
I'll vote
Vanessa?
yes too.
Okay.
Give us some money.
Staff and board remarks.
So I have, I guess it's a remark, I guess it's more of a statement. We've had, and this has come up multiple times, but this last month, I guess was a little more excessive. We have got a situation where our citizens think it's okay to show up at our employees' houses when their utilities have been shut off and demand that they be turned back on. So going forward, whoever hears this, everybody that's watching, if we have a citizen show up at an employee's house after hours, I don't care what the reasoning is for, it's never acceptable for anybody to show up at an employee's house, a manager's house, our homes, ever. I don't care what the situation is. We will contact our police department and they will be trespassed. That's how we're gonna handle that going forward. That should never happen. It's unacceptable. We are open 5 days a week. Currently, you can go to dispatch. They can send in payments once it's verified. Our guys will go out and turn it on then. That's soon not going to be an option. I also wanna put that out there. That's fixing to change when we don't have dispatch anymore. But I was pretty disturbed that our city manager by herself had 2 people show up to her house, beating on her door at 8:30 at night. Never okay. So, I don't care who it is, but if it happens again, our employees will be told to contact our PD and they will trespass them at that point.
It was very scary, I'll say that.
It's ridiculous.
There's always the option of paying your bill on time too.
Well, exactly. That's nobody's fault but the people that aren't paying their bills, so you can wait overnight. It's cooling down.
Wow.
Nobody's gonna die.
That's crazy.
It'll be okay.
I do also wanna thank everybody, I had a death in the family last week, and I wanna thank everybody who reached out, the board members, the mayor, the employees, had a very nice card and a cross and a beautiful candle waiting for me when I return, so I just wanna say thank you for everybody who reached out.
All right, any new business?
Yes, I think Mayor, you were here when Clyde came down, to talk to you about whatever we needed to sign. I guess not really new business, but just information really. We will be having a special meeting soon, so I'll reach out to you all when we get that paperwork to schedule one, so we can wrap up the lagoon project and be done with that.
Oh, good.
Sounds
Yes.
great. All right, anything else?
I think that's it.
Motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
Second,
Second.
vote.
Huckabee?
Yes.
Peterson?
Yes.
Chapman?
Yes.
Oh, went to the wrong one, sorry. Call the meeting to order with a roll call.
Huckabee?
Here.
McCaslin? Manasco?
Yes.
Peterson?
Here.
And Chapman?
All right, we have a quorum, consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to accept the consent agenda.
Second,
Second.
vote.
Huckabee?
Yes.
Manasco?
Yes.
Peterson?
Yes.
Chapman?
Yes.
All right, at this time, we'll open it up to remarks or inquiries by the audience not pertaining to any item on the agenda. Anyone?
I was a couple minutes.
Me too, I was like, oh my gosh, what just happened?
I'm not gonna lie, I enjoyed that way more than I should have. No, I was a couple minutes behind this, for this first meeting. I just want to tell you all, I got back from the conference. It was absolutely amazing. It's one of the most stressful things, if anybody wasn't paying, caught up on it. It was the Crimes Against Children. It's a conference. I met people from all over the country, from all over the world that come in and specialize in this work. I've received a bunch of contact information, but also I've gotten some help we're gonna be looking towards the cost analysis for, getting into what they call ICAC, which is part of a large, international team that works on internet crimes against children. And it's just basically, you just become a cog in the wheel. And when they have something in your area, you're contacted, hey, we need your help with this investigation. It doesn't do anything other than what I would do, almost always stay in my jurisdiction. If not, it would be an assist. But other than that, just the amount of knowledge and context. I know who to call if I have questions about things that are odd. You know, it helped out with a lot of questions I had for dealing with search warrants with the internet, basically. Any social media, they're exhausting, all of them. But there was a lot of great help there, and it was a lot of fun. I had a good time. It was exhausting, though. I'm not gonna lie. I was thinking like, ooh, like, 6 hours? No, it was like 10-hour days. The whole time just sitting in there and learning stuff. It was exhausting, but I just want to tell everybody I appreciated the opportunity, and I thank you very much.
Good, thanks for
Awesome.
going. Anyone else have anything exciting to talk about?
Oh, and I live here now.
Congratulations, welcome to town.
Hardly. I'm moving right now. It's exhausting.
That's terrible.
Okay, moving on to item 6, discussion and possible action regarding the use of the Water Department's Purple Wave funds of $25,475 plus $33,528 from sanitation's vehicle outlay funds that were previously allocated to vehicle purchases to total $59,003 to purchase a new vehicle for the Water Department.
Okay, so we got in our budget, we had 3 vehicles approved in the amount of $150,000. And I'm actually going to let Steve talk about this a little bit, and kind of explain what's going on.
We had that $150,000 for 3 vehicles.
We can't hear you, go ahead and stand up. Listen, what was our conversation last month?
Hey, I wanted him to sit up here, and he said no.
Anyway, we had that $150,000 for 3 vehicles. We got the 3 vehicles. We replaced 2 at Parks and got 1 for the mechanic. And we reallocated 1 to recycle. We had 33,000 of that left from the 150. And I don't know if y'all seen the water department pickups going around, but they're just like Band-Aided up. They're in bad shape. They're constantly in the shop, everything. So I suggested that we take the rest of that money plus their Purple Wave money and get them a brand new pickup. So
When I went in and as a city clerk in October of 2022, that was brought to my attention with that vehicle. We should have parked it then. It's dangerous and should not be out. We should not be in that vehicle anymore. So we had $33,000 remaining after the purchase of the 3 vehicles that Steve just said. So we had $150,000 to purchase 3. And we had, he did such a good job of shopping around for us where we had $33,000 left. So
Awesome.
he's wanting to use that balance of the $33,000 plus some of the Purple Wave money in the water department, because that was the water department's money, right? That was the
Purple Wave,
wave, yes. So that was already with what they sold in that department to purchase another vehicle from them. So we're technically not asking for more money, we're just reallocating it and asking for the balance to now be used for the purchase of a.
Awesome.
So basically, we're getting 4 vehicles of the amount that we asked for.
Very good.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second,
I'll second.
vote,
Huckabee,
Yes.
Manasco,
yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Chapman.
All right, item 7, discussion and possible action regarding selling parts of the Mangan Power Plant to Pawhuska, Oklahoma.
I'm gonna let Gordon speak
I'm
to
not going
this.
back, right?
You better talk loud.
Yeah, this one probably does need to be on the microphone,
Super
so
loud.
it's on YouTube.
Super loud. I'm gonna take the mic to him.
People in the way back.
Okay.
If somebody shows up at your doorstep after this.
Huh?
I said, if somebody shows up at your doorstep after this, all those fellas.
Give me a holler, I got it.
Okay. The city of Pawhuska, I've never seen their power plant. I guess they've got one that was similar.
It's the only one that's operational in the state.
Is it,
Uh-huh.
and it's something similar to ours? I didn't know that was that old. And a couple of the guys came down last week and they was like a kid in a candy store. I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that. Problem is, I don't know how much to charge them for them parts. I mean, guess we could name our own price. I don't know. I mean, you know, within reason now. I mean, they're a member city. Of course, they're not, that energy they generate's not helping us. I guess that would be our main thing, is just to kind of get exact parts list, and maybe I could contact Fairbanks Morse and say, hey, if you had this part, what is it worth? I mean, because I
When you
really,
still
I don't.
made it, what's the price? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I have no, yeah.
It's kind of
And
like
may-
a classic car, though. The older they get, the more valuable.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We may actually have a gold mine now, sitting
I
down
was
there,
gonna
but,
say, and they're full
it's-
functioning.
yeah, I mean, we
We'll buy
kind
another truck.
of, electric department one, electric
That
department.
roll-off
well,
truck's looking
electric, no,
mighty
hey,
bad
wait,
now.
this is electric department stuff. I need,
Oh,
I need a new, I need a new digger truck.
Hey, that's fun too.
But,
Yeah.
see there?
Digger truck, yeah.
But that's the
How much is
thing,
your digger truck, Gordon? That's the number
like,
to start with.
230,000. Well, probably right around 200,000 for
I
one.
mean, surely one of them cards are at least that, right?
Depends on how much of it they get. I
How
mean,
much do they need to make their stuff run?
I don't know. They, you know,
How
they,
bad do they want it?
yeah, and how bad do they want it? That's right.
They can probably.
I'm
get
kinda in a
grants and
quandary
stuff.
on the pricing though, cause I mean, really, it's, you know.
Have they told you what they would be interested in yet? or
Oh,
just
yeah, they're
still
running
just-
around in there, you know, this, that, and the other, and, yeah, I mean,
Were they interested in making an offer?
no. Well, they didn't at the time. Of course, I mean, they've gotta talk, these guys were just a couple of the workers, you know. They gotta, it says here, I don't guess the city of Pawhuska, or the city manager at Pawhuska, I don't know who he is. But, like I say, the main thing is if I can possibly pull some prices from up here somewhere, you know, and get on it, and then
See what
say,
happens?
hey, at least that's a money-making deal out of all of mine instead of a failure.
Lost air. It's golf course.
Oh, no, they're wanting like cylinder heads, they're
Oh, my
yeah, I mean.
Whoa.
See? She's my kind of woman. You start up here, work your way down here. So,
So I mean, I guess the question is, we're pretty sure we're never gonna have it operational. We can't even get fuel to it. You know, we've had so many people come.
yeah,
and
that
say,
ship sailed.
you know, that well, so was Judas Clan that came down at one time and didn't fix anything. Yeah, maybe not.
Not
Well,
them things.
And not to mention, but
Maybe I'll have to back up on that.
the study that we've
We've
had
had two
done that
engineering
said it was gonna
studies.
be, remind us, 16 million?
8 to 16, but they said 16, and that's to redo it. That's not, I mean, there's not fixing anything in there. That's to put all new generators and everything.
Yeah, I was really surprised that these guys
16 million.
had the same, basically some of the same engines that we have down there.
There were 3, I guess, and they're the only ones that still, there was us 2 in the state that still function, and they're the only ones that
And
still.
I hate it that we're not functional, but I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, so we just need to make an action so he can get prices on parts.
Did we talk with Corey about it?
No, I haven't heard about what's going on with that.
Did
This
he
is-
say anything when you gave
No,
him the
'cause-
agenda?
I mean, just last week when these guys came, and, you know, I thought they might just laugh and say, no, we don't need any of this junk either, you know, they was.
Well, they've been told the same things we've been told. You
Right,
can't fix
yeah,
that.
Yeah, exactly,
You can't get those anymore.
right.
So really, all this would do is just approve you to begin
pricing.
looking into selling it.
Yeah, maybe, like I said, I need to get numbers more, suppose.
So I'll make a motion for Gordon to start researching prices on parts for the power plant to be sold,
To be sold, yeah.
not bought.
Second,
I'll second that,
vote,
Huckabee,
yes.
Manasco,
yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Chapman.
Yes.
All right, any staff or board remarks? Any new business?
I don't think we have any
motion to adjourn,
I'll make a motion.
second,
Second.
vote,
Huckabee,
Yes.
Manisco,
yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Chapman.
Yes.
All right, adjourned. Thank you guys for coming.
I need signatures. Won't leave
She's like,
anybody.
don't you dare leave.
I asked you earlier today.
So let's radio you off.
Yeah, it was a tough decision. I spent a lot of hours on it. I'm telling you, hear my snakes. Yeah, I'm here with it.